Is used manga as bad as people make it out to be? Well, no. I don't really understand why this is much of a discussion. I keep seeing all these discussions popping up on YouTube about, is used manga illegal, or is used manga bad for the industry, and I'm just kind of like, what? No, not really. At the end of the day, used manga exists because people want to sell on their old stuff, the stuff that they have already paid for. Now, I can kind of understand where some people are coming from, as I saying, well, yeah, if you buy used manga, you're not really putting money in the Viz Media's pocket. You could buy that brand new, or you could just buy it new. And I'm not gonna lie, I am a person who buys the majority of their titles brand new. But what are the titles that are long out of print? What if you are a 14-year-old and the money that you get is either from your parents, you got a little bit of pocket money, or you just genuinely can't afford new manga? What do you do then? Now, some people, the first logic is that if I can't afford it, I'll steal it, I'll pirate it. But other people's thoughts are, if I can't afford it and I want to own it, I'll buy it used. Sometimes you genuinely do get a lot of these great fantastic deals. I don't really see them that often, personally. A lot of the deals I tend to see is stuff like, please buy my used copy of Death Note. It's been chewed by the dog, but I still want more than what Amazon's charging for it. No time wasters. Or if not, I'll see it's like, oh, it's Bleach Volume 16, or One Piece Volume 42, or My Hero Academia Volume 9. It's these random odd volumes that people's acquired over the years and then just went, oh, well, yeah, I don't, yeah. Or they've started buying something and they've started to say, oh, I really like My Hero Academia, I really like Attack on Titan, I'm going to start buying them. And then they buy them and just go, oh, well, actually, this isn't really for me. I don't really want to have a huge dedicated space for just manga. And then they just go, oh, well, I'm not going to buy anymore. And then they try and sell them on, try and get a little bit of money back for what it is. As far as I'm concerned, I have nothing wrong with that. There's literally nothing wrong with it. And I can't really understand why there's a huge thing at the moment about used manga. At the end of the day, if you can afford to buy new manga, by all means buy new manga. If not, if you were buying from a used shop, a little used bookstore, I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like books and print have survived on things like used bookstores. Really, they have. How many people can remember going to a used bookstore and just running around rummaging and finding all these little titles that you probably wouldn't have picked up before? Or libraries. If used manga is really the same level as piracy, what about libraries? Those monsters, you know, taking books and distributing them to, you know, the public. Ooh. My local library runs off donations. I'm not going to lie, and rather than selling books, I actually take my old, a lot of the ones that I just didn't want to buy anymore, Naruto, My Hero Academia, Bakuman, Tiger and Bunny, I took all of those to my local library. At the end of the day, I was like, at that point I didn't need the money. And I was just like, you know what? I'd rather somebody else get some enjoyment from these series rather than me try and make some money from them. Actually, to the point that I don't sell used manga, to the point that I've had so many bad experiences that people ask, oh, can you hold it on for next month? Yeah, sure. Can you hold it on for another month? Yeah, sure. 6 months later, do you actually want this? Oh, no, I don't really want it. And I was like, thanks. To me, giving to the library means that it gets another lease on life. More people are going to get into series. At the end of the day, when I was young, when I was about 9 or 10, there was a few series that I would never have even gotten into if I hadn't bought them used, or if I hadn't read them at a library. Because when you're younger, £7, £8, £9 for one volume of manga is a lot of money. At the end of the day, it's just one of those weird, sad things about the whole industry. It's that yeah, it's an expensive hobby. Not everyone's going to be able to afford it. But I still feel that there's more genuineness from coming from buying used than it is going to be if you went and just pirated stuff. Most people I see who are buying used are either very young, or they're buying volume 29 of iShield 21, or volume 16 of Slam Dunk, titles that are long out of print and you can't necessarily buy them brand new. A lot of people buy brand new and then they just buy used to fill in the gaps. I'm not going to lie, I started buying a title called Tenjo Tenge. I bought volume 1, I really liked it, and onwards I bought used because I just couldn't find any further volumes for it. And I'm kind of like, well, at the end of the day, if those were there brand new, I would have bought them. Now, the one thing that other people say is that people shouldn't be charging ridiculous prices for out-of-print books. And I'm just kind of like, well, let people charge whatever they want. Now, I have tried to buy some, like, some, for example, some titles. Blackjack is the one that was really for me, where I started collecting Blackjack. And then they started putting them up for £100, £200. And the first thing I just went was just like, I'm not paying that. I'm not paying £100 for Blackjack. I don't need to own Blackjack. I really don't. It's one of those weird things. Is that I always get the. I understand the importance of having a complete collection. I did with iShield 21. iShield 21 was a title that I bought so much of. I bought, I think, every single volume I bought on clearance, or I'm probably spending about £3 or £4 for each one. And the one that I couldn't get was volume 28, I believe. And the only way I could get that was paying £40 to £50. It was a long time. It was about 7 or 8 years ago when I bought this. And at first I was just like, I'm not paying that much. I'm not paying that much for one volume. Then I was just like, but I need that to complete the rest. And I bought the rest for cheaper. So this balances it out. So at the end of the day, if you're paying £1 for each manga, and it's a series of 20 volumes, and you can get another one for £50 to £100, consider if this balances out and changes it to RRP. Or you can just think, well, do I need to own that? In the end of the day, it's one of those things. It's like, if I had a title and I didn't know how much it was worth, and I went on eBay and I was wanting to sell, say, Konosuba Volume 1, and I went on eBay and Konosuba Volume 1 was selling for £500, I was just like, brilliant, that's how much Konosuba's selling for. I'll sell it for, I don't know, 450. Undercut the competition. I suppose that makes me horrible. But at the end of the day, I'm not really a person who has any interest in buying and selling manga that way. I don't buy manga to have a resale value. Same with all of these figures. A lot of these figures that I've got, including like the Ren ones, and the two Xenoblade ones, they will go for quite a bit of money. But for me, I don't consider them an investment. I consider them as something for my collection, something that I want to own. If I was going to buy these just for the pure thought of reselling them, I have zero attachment to them. That's it. I can understand it's infuriating to see a title that you really, really want to have for your collection, but somebody else has it for £500 and that's putting you off, because yeah, it's frustrating to not have something complete. But the first thing to wonder is, do you really need a series to have that completionist that you need to pay £500 for it? And if you can afford £500 for it, brilliant. At the end of the day, I'm not here to tell you what you should and shouldn't spend your money on. If you can justify £500 for a volume of manga, great. That's it. That's how much your spending affects me. And ultimately, with this whole thing of buying used and buying new, is that overall, I genuinely don't really care enough that it affects me. My choice is that I buy new because, well, I like to have a new book in my hand. If you can't afford a new book, and if you prefer to buy it used, all the power to you. In the end of the day, it's just one of those things. People have different tastes, much like most people I know probably don't want to buy the same manga that I'm going to buy. I look at My Hero Academia and just go, yeah, yucky. But then I'll be like, plus size I'd like to have that in my collection. That's just the way it is. It's just everybody has different opinions on it, and really there is no true answer. I don't really feel like it's something that people need to be getting worked up about. At the end of the day, as far as I'm concerned, if people are buying some kind of manga, if this gets people who are buying maybe, oh, I can afford 5 volumes of My Hero Academia used, but when I'm older I might look at those 5 volumes and just go, oh, actually these are looking a bit worn. Oh, the corners are a bit bent. Oh, this one looks like a dog's eating it. And if I chose to then go, oh, you know what, Viz has got them 3 for 2, I might just buy them again, brand new. And that's what I see a lot of the time. A lot of people don't buy these expensive manga due to wanting to spend that much money. They want it for the collection. Or if a reprint comes out, they're just like, yeah, I'll get the reprint. And for example, Gantz, a lot of people buy the individual versions of Gantz or 20th Century Boys. And then it's just kind of like, oh, well, there's omnibus editions out. Okay, so it's up to you. You can either spend a lot more money on the individuals for Gantz, or you can just buy them in the omnibus. You have that choice. It's your choice to make. I don't really think it's one of those ones where you need to get in a wobbler about it. It's like, oh, it's criminal that they're charging me £500 for volume 10 of Gantz because it's in the omnibus editions. But yeah, just buy the omnibus editions if it fusses you that much. I know, in the end of the day, uniformity is lovely on a shelf. I appreciate that, but if you want to own it, potentially look at getting an omnibus edition until you can get the single one, or wait for a reprint. I'm rambling now. I'm going to end this video. Let me know in the comments what you think of used manga and the used manga industry. If you think it's horrible, it's the same as scans, or if you're like me and you probably don't really care either way. Let me know, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.